What if some of the messages our ancestors left us can never be read again, not because they're hidden, not because they're encrypted, but because the last person who understood them died and took the entire language with them? We tell ourselves a confident story that with enough brains, enough computing, enough artificial intelligence, any code can eventually be cracked. It's a comforting belief. And for a whole category of ancient writing, it may simply be wrong. These aren't blank stones. The marks are right there, carved, stamped, deliberate. Somebody had something to say. We just can't hear it anymore. Let me count you through the letters we may never open, and the reason that should humble us. Start on the island of Crete, with a small clay disc spiraled with symbols pressed into it by hand. The Phaistos Disc. It's covered in neat little pictures, a head, a bird, a walking figure, arranged in a spiral. It looks like it wants to be read. And here's the trap: it is, as far as we know, the only one of its kind. A single object, with no second example to compare it to. That's the first thing decoding needs and rarely gets: repetition. You crack a code by finding the same signs in different places and watching how they behave. With one object, there's nothing to compare. One message, sealed forever, not by a lock, but by being alone. Now sail to one of the most remote islands on Earth, Rapa Nui, Easter Island. Carved into wood there is a script we call Rongorongo, rows of tiny, intricate glyphs, read in a way so strange you have to flip the tablet upside down to continue each line. People made these recently, in historical terms. And here is the heartbreak: the ability to read them was lost within living memory when the island's society collapsed under disease and slave raids. The last people who could read Rongorongo died, often before anyone wrote down how it worked. The knowledge didn't fade over millennia. It went out like a candle, in a generation. That's the second lesson: a writing system is only ever one broken generation away from silence. Travel to the Indus Valley, one of the great early civilizations, thousands of years old. They left behind thousands of short inscriptions, mostly on small seals, rows of signs, often with an animal beneath them. For over a century, brilliant people have tried to read the Indus script. And here the mystery deepens into something stranger. We don't even fully agree on what it is. The inscriptions are almost all extremely short, a handful of signs. Some researchers argue it may not encode a spoken language at all, but something else entirely: labels, symbols, a system we don't have a word for. You can't decipher a language if you can't first prove it's a language. The third lesson: sometimes we don't even know what kind of silence we're staring at. Back to Crete, for the cruelest case of all. There were two related scripts there, Linear A and Linear B. Linear B was cracked, a genuine triumph. In 1952, an architect named Michael Ventris showed it spelled out an early form of Greek. A dead script, brought back to speech. So Linear A should fall too, right? It uses many of the same signs. But when you plug in the Linear B sound values, what comes out is not Greek. It's not any language we recognize. The signs we can pronounce, the words mean nothing. Because the people who spoke it left no descendants we can identify, and no other text in their tongue. That's the fourth and hardest lesson. You can know how a script sounds and still not understand a single word if the language behind it has no living relatives. Here's the part that flips the whole story, and it's the reason I don't trust the "we'll crack anything eventually" promise. Think about the famous successes. Egyptian hieroglyphs were read again because of the Rosetta Stone, the same decree carved in 3 scripts, one of them a language scholars already knew. Linear B fell because, underneath, it was Greek. Every great decipherment had a key, a bilingual text, or a known related language hiding inside. Take that key away, and the problem changes its nature entirely. An undeciphered script with no bilingual and no living relative isn't a locked safe waiting for a cleverer thief. There's no combination to find. The message was never encrypted. It was orphaned, cut off from the only thing that ever gave it meaning, which was a living human mind that spoke the language. That's why more computing power may not save us here. You can't compute your way back to a meaning that no longer exists anywhere on Earth. So that's the quiet, unsettling truth under all of this. We imagine the past as something we can always recover if we just dig hard enough. But scattered across the world are messages that outlived the minds that wrote them, perfectly visible, permanently mute. Someone pressed those symbols into clay believing they'd be understood. They were sure of it. And they will probably never be understood again. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If writing, the very thing we invented to defeat forgetting, can still go silent forever, then how much of what any civilization knows is really safe? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if this got to you, the story of the machine that could model the heavens 2,000 years ago, and the knowledge we lost anyway, is on screen now.